Hey everybody, Tim Miller from the Bulwark. Our friend George Conway is back at it with his anti-psychopath pack, and they've got a couple of new ads on an issue that has been a big hobby horse of mine, and I'm happy that he is running ads on this. I'm happy that they are running around Bedminster and around Mar-a-Lago on Trump's favorite channels, so Trump will have to see them, and which will almost certainly result in Trump lashing out about them. Which I think will help Kamala Harris. So let me back up and lay out exactly what's happening here, and then we'll talk about the political implications. Anti-Psychopath PAC has two ads, one from Natasha Stoynoff and one from Jessica Leeds. These are two of the women who have offered credible accusations of sexual assault misconduct on behalf of Donald Trump. Remember, there are only over 24 women who have made these accusations. And we have the tape of Donald Trump admitting that he commits sexual assault, bragging about it, actually. And I think that there's been this thing in politics where ever since Trump won in 2016, after the Access Hollywood tape, there's been this conventional wisdom that is set in for people. That's like, well, people just don't care that he committed sexual assault. So it's not really news. I used to yell at my friends in the White House press corps and say, why have you not asked the press Spicer or Huckabee Sanders about the new revelations, which there always were, about Jean Carroll or Summer Zervos or any of these women who are making accusations? Why don't you challenge them on it? And every once in a while they would. But a lot of times I got the feedback back with like, this is old news. Everybody knew Trump had these accusations out against him. Everybody heard the Access Hollywood tape where he admitted to grabbing women by the genitals. And so here we are. Let's move on to the myriad other scandals of Trump. And I've always thought that is wrong. That is wrong. He lost the popular vote to Hillary. There are people out there that don't know the stories. There are young people who are just voting for the first time. There are women, there are working class women who live in kind of MAGA media environments who are now gettable for Democrats because of the overturn of Roe, who didn't really pay attention to these accusations. So I think it's important to talk about them. I'm happy George Conway is running ads featuring them. Let's watch the first one featuring Natasha Stoynoff.
My name is Natasha Stoynoff. In 2005, I went to interview Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. At one point, Melania went upstairs to change her clothes for the next photo shoot. And Trump said to me, I want to show you this beautiful painting, this beautiful room. He leads me to this room, pushes me against the wall, and starts kissing me forcefully. I tried to push him. He kept coming back at me. I was in shock and smothered, and he had his hands here against my shoulders. I felt sick inside. I felt horrified. And thank goodness the butler charges into the room. Like many women, I blamed myself. So Trump turned to me and said, you know we're going to have an affair, don't you? And Melania was approaching. I was horrified. When the Access Hollywood tape came out, and also stories of many other women, including E. Jean Carroll, I realized I was not to blame, that he was just a predator of women. What could have happened if the butler had not come into the room? Donald Trump is an adjudicated sexual assaulter. We cannot elect this man as president.
We've heard this story. She's the reporter. She's down in Mar-a-Lago. Melania's there. The other thing I like about these ads running in Mar-a-Lago and Bedminster is that Melania might see them too. And the whole story is gross. And the whole story makes you just skin crawl. And reminding people about just how disposable Trump thinks women are. Man, with the gender gap that we've seen in this election, I just think driving up the emphasis on that is really powerful. Let's watch the other instance with Jessica Leeds.
1979, I had gotten on an airplane. The stewardess said to me, would you like to come up to first class? In the window seat was a gentleman, said that his name was Donald Trump. The airplane took off, and all of a sudden, Donald Trump started groping me. He was trying to kiss me, and I'm trying to push him away. He was basically overpowering me. When he started putting his hand up my skirt, I got out of the seat, grabbed my purse, and went back to my original seat. And I certainly was shook up by the whole thing. 2 years later, at this fundraiser, up comes Trump and his wife. And he looked at me and he said, I remember you. You're that cunt from the airplane. Donald Trump views women as for his entertainment. He is a serial predator. He has said it at point blank, and he's done it, and he will continue to do it.
Here we are talking about Donald Trump just being a disgusting, gross pig pervert in the airplane, calling this woman the C word after she was the one that was abused. And this is just a sick man. And this is a gross man. And I think it's important to remind people of it. It's also important, as I mentioned at the top, I think that George, has unlocked the key a little bit to Donald Trump's vulnerabilities. Though it's not really, it wasn't a hard to find key. I guess we got to credit George, but it was similar to the strategy that Kamala Harris used to trigger him during the debate, which is get him to talk about the stuff that makes him look bad, right? If you have these ads up and he's pissed and he's out there bleating about how these women are liars or whatever, like that's not good. Raising the salience of this issue is not good for him. Reminding people about this is not good for him. And so it's almost like you're using Trump as like a self-guided missile aimed at himself, by riling him up and encouraging him to talk about this self-sabotaging type topic. And so I think that's very smart strategically. I also should say to Natasha and Jessica, I don't want to overstate it, but back when I was doing PR, there were a few times where I provided crisis communications advice to women who had been targeted or had been abused. And so I was in those rooms. I know how tough it is. I know that what they go through when they come forward, and the accusations and the self-doubt and the stress. And so it's not easy to do this. I'm very grateful to Natasha and Jessica for putting themselves out there like this. The election is so important. I wish everybody had the courage that they do. And I think once again, George Conway and the Anti-Psychopath PAC is onto something about, playing one role here. Like there are a lot of different jobs, a lot of different ways to kind of undermine Trump. This is just one tool in the toolbox, and I think that he is wielding it quite deftly. So there you go. Make sure to subscribe to the feed. We are going to be monitoring. We continue to monitor any ads that are out there that catch our eye. We'll make sure to show them to you and give you an analysis. So tell your friends. Give us a little thumbs up down there. And we'll see you all back here soon. Peace.